Hello, Year 12. It's Mr. Julian here. Welcome to this assembly presentation on why university and the things that you should look at if you are considering going to university. So what I'm going to do, present to you my screen, and then you should be able to see everything that I'm going to talk about in terms of the things you need to consider. So when we look at this then, why university? Things to think about, and things I want you to overall discuss is generally about the advantages you could have if you go to university. So we're very much a sixth form that promotes university. We encourage people to want to apply, but we're not saying that you have to go. So please don't think this is us saying you absolutely have to go. This is us saying these are the options available to you. These are the things you should look at, and it's down to you then to weigh up those and decide if you want it to go and if it's right for you. So in terms of what university is then, a high-level educational institution in which students study for degrees and academic research is done. Again, you should all be fully familiar with what that is. I shouldn't really have to explain too much about that. These are some of the things you should consider when you're looking at going. So I won't read all of them, but I mean, some of the key things to consider are the fact that generally, if you go to university, you're going to have better job prospects. So a lot of jobs, for example, do require you to have a degree. You'll also eventually earn more money. You'll get more, develop new skills, and you'll be working with people that are experts as well. So there's lots and lots of pros associated with going to university. So a couple of statistics then. So as I said earlier, on average, generally, if you go to university, you're looking at earning more per year over the lifetime of your working life. You would likely earn more as a graduate than you would if you didn't go to university. So in terms of applying then and the things to consider and what you need to look at, you need to go to the UCAS website, and then you type in the search box here, a course or any sort of rough subject or something like that you're interested in. And then once it goes through, you can either click on the undergraduate section, which is what you would be, or alternatively, you can just start on the undergraduate section and then choose your subject that you're interested in. Okay, it's very, very straightforward. As I say, I put history there as an example, and I'm going to walk you through how that would work and what you would get if you then chose history. But there's obviously, thousands and thousands of courses that you can choose. So have a good look at all the different types of things that you might be interested in. Once you've done that, then say if you did select history, like I said, select undergraduate. That's what you'd be doing. Please don't look at any of the other stuff regarding like postgraduate. If you're interested in performing arts, that kind of thing, you can look at conservatoire. Or again, if you want to look at apprenticeships, you can do that as well. But for today's purposes, we're going to focus on the undergraduate section. So once you've done that, you'll be met with all of the different courses that are available for that subject. So in this case with history, I've just taken a selection of them, okay? So these are it's done alphabetically. So you've got De Montfort University, the University of Derby, Dundee, and Durham University. And these are all for history. Now, what I want you to pay attention to with these are things like how long the course is. So it's 3 years, 3 years, 4 years, 3 years. So this one, for example, the 4-year one might be some form of sandwich course, maybe where they have a year placement or something like that. Have a look at the UCAS points. So what points do they want there? So you'll see for De Montfort, it's 112. And then you can see for Durham, it's 152. So normally the higher ranked, the more prestigious the university, the higher the grades they would expect, okay? And again, it's really important that you guys make notes and you look at all of these things. You need to be aware of these things. In terms of things to consider then, breaking it down to sort of more specific things towards a subject you're interested in. Think about the course you want to study, okay? Now, also look at the topic areas, and I'll come on to that in a bit more, but you need to look at say in the history case, what type of history or types of history do they study? So consider all of those things. As I said, think about the grades. How will you be assessed? Is it a mix of coursework or is it a mixture of exams, etc.? So think about those. Think about where you want to live. Do you want to live away from home, or would you rather stay more local, somewhere like Kent or Christchurch and Canterbury or Greenwich, something like that? What kind of campus is it? And I'll talk about that in a minute. And what are the fees? So how much is it going to cost? Most of them these days are £9,250. So again, consider that and think about your own, financial status, etc. Everyone can qualify for a student loan, and then think about, paying that back and etc. So there's lots of information about that. And also, again, we'll look at this. Is it a good university or a good course? So how is it ranked nationally versus other universities and other courses? In terms of the topic areas then, so what do I want to study? So I'm comparing Portsmouth and Kent. Now, partly I'm comparing Portsmouth if that's where I went. This is not me just being biased, but I want to show you the differences in terms of what they study. So Portsmouth is obviously on the south coast of England, so there's a lot of naval history there. So you'll see that some of the stuff that they study, for example, will have a naval focus. So there's options to do those. This is an overview of some of the things that they teach. And then when you look at Kent as well, there's some quite distinct differences there between the courses they study. Now, when you go to university, you have a very wide range of choices that you can normally do as part of a subject. So history is a massive, massive subject. And these are just some of the areas listed. Okay. You can choose absolutely loads of different options and different units to make up your degree. So it's important to look at how is the course broken down, what kind of things do they study, what kind of things are you interested in, and what will that how will that appeal to you. And again, it's important for you to do your research and make sure that you're having a good look at that and really, really thinking about those. If we have a look at the grades, so I've put at the bottom then the different grades. So you can see, for example, an A star is worth 56 points, an A 48, a B 40, and so on. And then distinction is 48 points, merit's 32, and a pass is 16. And a distinction star, for example, if you were doing BTEC, would be worth 56, so the same as an A star. Okay, so again, look at the different entry requirements for each university and think about that. So if you ever look at Portsmouth, you'll see that there's a bit of a range there. They want a grade B in history, same as Kent. Portsmouth's UCAS points are between 104 and 120. Okay, so roughly 3 Bs or BCC, whereas Kent is 3 Bs. Okay, but both of them stipulate that you need a 4 in English and maths. So that's also something to be aware of. Different courses will have different stipulations. If you want to go down a science route, for example, they might want a 5 in English and maths. So it very much varies according to what you're applying for. But make sure you have a look at that. In terms of how you'll be assessed, again, these two courses broadly similar-ish, both exams, both coursework, there's group projects, individual presentations, that sort of stuff, and a dissertation, so a 10,000 word essay that you do in your final year at university on a topic of your choosing. On to the next bit then, what kind of campus is it? So this is something that you really need to consider. So if I look at Portsmouth first, so you've got an aerial shot here of Portsmouth. Now, Portsmouth is a city campus. Now, what that means is that the university buildings are sort of dotted around the city. So you can see a lot of them here are sort of purple, which is all the different options and the different buildings that they have around the city. So that's something that you need to consider whether you want to walk around to your lectures and seminars and stuff. Or if you look at Kent, it's a campus university. So what that means is that all of the university is located on the one site here. So you can see all of these different buildings are part of the University of Kent. So that's something where you've got to consider. And as well, students obviously live in these halls around here. And then, it's a short walk to your lectures and your seminars. So things like that are important to consider if you're looking at staying at university. Alternatively, if you're looking to commute, then that's not so much of an issue, but something to think about there in terms of where you're going for your studies. Other things then to look at, is it a good university? So there's you can compare them. So I've compared Portsmouth here and I've compared Kent. So this is just the universities as a whole, and it tells you about the city, town, tells you student satisfaction. So all students have to do a review, a satisfaction survey about what they like about university, etc., etc. You've got average salaries and the percentage that go on to work or further study, which is also useful to look at as well. So that's just a general good overview of the universities. And then you can look at it by course as well, so you can break it down. So this is the complete university guide, and you can see we've got the University of Kent is ranked 47th for history, and Portsmouth is ranked 61st in the University League table. So that gives you an indication as to where they're at in terms of history. And again, you could break that down for any different qualification. You can just do a generic overview of a university as a whole, or like I said there, you can see it based on specific courses. So things that you're going to need to think about going forward then. So do your research. There's so much stuff out there for universities, okay? And it's the more organized you are, the better it will be for you guys. So make sure you do all your research. There's loads of stuff. Have a good look. These are just some of the university websites and things you can use to find some research. But if you was to Google sort of university comparison or university course research, stuff like that, there'll be loads of things that come up. But have a really good look. Other things as well, talk to your parents, your guardians, talk to your siblings, etc. Talk to your teachers. We've all been to university. We've all got different experiences. We've all did different places, and we can talk to you a lot about the different options available. So, be organised and don't leave this. Make sure that you feel really prepared and you've done a lot of stuff with that. Things that you can do to improve your chances. So obviously grades are important. You want to make sure you've got decent grades. Yeah, a really good personal statement makes a difference. And obviously we'll work on those during form time, and we'll do a lot of stuff to help you with that. But I can't stress enough the importance of you guys being organised on the ball. With this as well, if you're interested in doing an extended project qualification, the EPQ, this is something that you can do in year 13, and it's highly valued by universities. So you do specific university style skills and you write a mini dissertation. So that's something that you could look at, and you can do it on a topic of your choice, but it's something that gives you a really useful chance of boosting your chance of getting in. You've got things called MOOCs, which is massive online open courses. There's loads of these available. FutureLearn's a good website. Most of the courses are free, so you can have a look at that. I think you generally have to do them within about 8 weeks, but you just can do that, and it's something that shows your interest in it. You don't get like UCAS points or anything, but again, it's something that shows your interest and that you've done your research and you're looking to enhance your knowledge base and stuff like that. Have a look as well whether there's any university summer schools that you could attend. Now, COVID's obviously put paid to some of these, but there are a lot of them are online. So have a look, and you can type in various different universities in their summer schools. In a minute, for example, I'll show you Kent, and you can have a look at that. And here as well, look at Head Start courses. Again, very useful for those, particularly if you're considering STEM pathways. Just be aware some of them you have to pay for. So don't feel like you need to go spending loads of money. There's not necessarily a need to do that. It's more if you're interested, if you want to do something like that. But again, do your research and have a look. On to example of a MOOC then. So this is, like I said, the ones that are available. So this is on FutureLearn. So for example, if you were looking at forensic science, there's a course here, which is just an introduction to forensic science. It's free. It's provided by the University of Strathclyde in Glasgow. So it's written by a university. It's got lots of information available on there. Really, really good reviews, I would say, and it's free. So something, if you were interested, you can consider. And in terms of the summer schools, there you go. So this is the University of Kent. So online summer schools. So again, extra things you can do to give yourself the chance of being more prepared in terms of university. And then a couple of other things to think about then. Personal statement. This is one of the most important things that you're going to have to write. And it's basically your chance to sell yourself to that university, okay? We will look at these in form, and I will go through and give you some specific stuff on this. But the real things that you need to look at, they're looking for that you can be an independent thinker, that you're a problem solver, that you can research, that you can write coherent essays, and you can contribute ideas. You are the ones that have to write this. We can check it and give you feedback. It's down to you. You leave it to the last minute and it's not very good. That's your fault. That's your problem. So the more organized you are, the more prepared you are again with this, the better it will be. And it's the hardest part of the UCAS application. So make sure that you really do consider this and have a good look at it. And finally, next steps, things that you're going to need to do. As I've said, research and plan. This is your responsibility. The more organized you are, the better it will be. Talk to your parents, your carers, get a feel for it. Get a feel for what kind of things you could expect. Do your parents, carers want you to go to university? What would they like to see? How are they going to support you? Is it an option for you to go and view universities? Can you go and look at websites together and talk about it? As I said, talk to your teachers. We've all got a vast of experiences of having gone to different universities and studied different courses. So see what we've got and what information we have. And last of all, be prepared. This is one of the biggest things that you're going to have to prepare for in your lives. That, like I said, organisation is key. The more organised you are, the easier it will be, the better prepared you will be, and the more relaxed you will be. The longer you leave this, the more difficult and the more stressful and the more challenging it will be. Thank you for listening to me whittle on about this. If you've got any questions, like I said, please ask. You're welcome to come see me, Mr. Loftus, or any of your teachers, and we'll be more than happy to help. But other than that, enjoy doing your research. This is a really exciting step that you're thinking about now. So make the most of it. And you've got lots to look forward to if you are looking at going to university. All right. Thanks for listening. And like I said, if you need any help, come and see me.